And welcome to QPR Preview Show, episode 20, ahead of a televised Sunday lunchtime clash with Watford. QPR, of course, sit 23rd and need points from this run of home games. We'll preview that clash and look back at the annual third round FA Cup exit shortly. But let's start away from the football this week. Off the pitch, there's been lots of rumours that QPR could be facing a 10-point deduction. What have you made of all that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be surprised if it's true from what they're saying it's for, because apparently it's due to the fine that we're paying off. I just don't see how that would work. But, I can't imagine we're in a great position. It's no secret that they're in trouble and close to breaching FFP. And you look at all the sponsorship deals they did in the last couple of months, sponsoring every stand and everything they can find, training ground. You wonder, is that to raise transfer funds for this window, or are they that close to the line they had to do something? And we haven't bought anyone yet, so maybe we are quite close. I suppose we'll find out soon enough. But it's concerning if it's true, and we're definitely down, aren't we? If that's true, but I'd be surprised if it was.
Yeah, I can't imagine they've defaulted on the fine repayments, because I know it's a large amount of money, but in football terms for QPR, with the amount of losses that we get, it's not a massive expense compared to other expenses, like I say. So I think that rumour about that was potentially made up. But like you, I worry we're still going to struggle with the 39 million 3-year loss anyway, because I thought like you would hit the ground running with some signings after all those sponsorship deals, but it doesn't seem to be heading that way. Other off the field news this week was obviously Chris Ramsey leaving QPR. Can we read anything into that as well?
Yeah, I don't think it's a huge shock that he's gone. I mean, I don't think his role's really been defined for the last couple of years. He seems to have just been coaching the first team. It's hard to know what he does. He started off, when he left as manager, he was working with the academy and the younger teams and development team, and now he's with the first team. So I don't think they kind of know what he was doing there, what his role was. So it's probably right to go. I'm sure he was on a fair whack of money as well, because he was manager a while ago. So he wasn't coming cheap. It's probably the right thing to do. We've both been saying all season, they've got to, bring fresh blood in. Liz Ferdinand left last July, didn't he? They haven't replaced him yet. Lee Hoos is now chairman, CEO. I don't know. He's the cleaner as well. He's did everything, isn't he? They've got to bring someone in soon, and maybe this is a way that they could get someone off the wage bill and bring someone in. Hopefully they do it soon, because it's long overdue.
Yeah, I do wonder if it was again linked to FFP, and maybe they've found some loophole where they could get rid of his contract early or something, because it is the timing that is a little bit odd. I said at the end of last season they needed to reset the club on every level, and so it's fair enough that they're making those kind of moves, but it's just the timing is slightly suspect. And I agree that I don't think it would have ever harmed having some transparency about what he actually was doing at the club. It was a little bit vague. He's coming for a bit of stick in some quarters this week, I noticed. And again, I think that comes from people not being quite sure what he was doing. But if he was a high earner, it makes sense. Back onto the pitch, Jackson, and I don't think any of us expected us to take anything from the cup match last week. But to be 2-0 up at half-time and then throw it away at home, it was poor, wasn't it, to end up losing the match the way we did?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think most of us saw it coming at half-time, that they probably would struggle second half. But they did so well that first half. They matched Bournemouth, they played well. We had quite a few players out, but I thought they played really well. And it sort of worked in playing Dykes wide on the left and Armstrong up front. They were swapping positions. Dykes was able to get in the box and get a bit of space. Worked pretty well, but and we were getting the ball out quickly as well to Armstrong. That move for his goal, it got him one-on-one with the defender. We don't do that often enough, and he's so quick. He's going to get through, and it was a brilliant goal from him. But Bournemouth just stepped up second half, and we like to self-harm a bit, don't we, at the back? I mean, God knows what we're doing for the 3 goals. Begovic flying out like an idiot. Larkesh just leaving his man for the 3rd goal. I mean, potentially a foul on Dunn, but a bit of a soft one if it had been given. And these have been problems we've had for months. Doesn't matter who we play. We're giving these sort of really soft goals away, and 2-0 up. They shouldn't have lost that game from 2-0 up. Worst they should have got was a replay. But it was disappointing after a really positive first half.
Yeah, it was just the worst time to concede, wasn't it? Straight after half time, especially for our side, which we know mentally fragile at the best of times. I think if we could have kept it tight for even 15, 20 minutes, we may have had a better chance. You touched on them there, but set pieces, they're the hot topic of the week, aren't they? The big concern 4 goals conceded in the last 2 games from corners effectively. That has to have been the focus on the training ground this week, doesn't it?
Yeah, it has to be. It's been since he come really. I mean, that's when the goals have been conceded, all been from set pieces, haven't they? But it really highlighted this week. It was some really soft goals they've been away from it. They have to work on it. They have to be better at it because from open play they look reasonably well organised, and if they can get the majority of the players, the main players back in, they look all right. But you can't give away 1, 2, 2, 3 goals a week from set pieces. That Cardiff game absolutely killed us with them 2 they give away there. And again against Bournemouth, they have to do a lot better with that if we're going to have any chance of staying up. Because, like we've said a million times, there's not enough goals in this team to concede 2 a week. You're not going to win anything.
Yeah, I think since the new manager's come in, we've only, I think, conceded 4 or 5 goals from open play. If we could just stop conceding from corners, we'd have got a decent platform there to build on. But it's going to be our Achilles heel, and you wonder now it becomes almost like a mental block, doesn't it? Every time we concede a corner, the players are going to be nervous, the crowd are going to be nervous. It just builds into something bigger. So hopefully we can nip it in the bud sooner rather than later. Do you think it will have given the squad confidence that they could compete against the top flight side, or will throwing the 2-0 lead away affect them negatively, do you think?
I think it should do. I mean, I did think Bournemouth were very good second half. We did gift them a couple of goals, but they were well on top of us and just played to their level. They're a lot better than us, and they showed it second half. I think they can take things from it. Armstrong again, I thought was very good. I thought he played well at Ipswich, and he was excellent last week. I thought Dykes did okay. Field had a decent game in midfield, and I thought Larkesh did all right as well. It was his first start at left back for quite a while, I think. But there's stuff they can take from it. Watford are an okay side, but they're not going to be as good as Bournemouth, and we've given Bournemouth a real game, so they should take something from it. But like we say, you never know with this team. They look good against Ipswich and then completely collapse 2 days later. So you just don't know what you're going to get from them.
Yeah, I think they should take confidence from the performance level overall. Whether or not they can, we'll soon find out. And like we say, it's Watford up this weekend, and a match, of course, which brings back harrowing memories of the opening day of the season. And let's face it, QPR season hasn't really improved that much since, if we're honest. It's live on Sky, the graveyard, midday Sunday kickoff. I don't think that'll particularly help the atmosphere. For Watford, they're a really hard team to get a read on when you look at their form. Every time they get back-to-back wins, they then go a couple without a win. They come into this 3 league games without a win. They only scraped past non-league Chesterfield in the Cup. They're not quite the league champions Gareth Ainsworth made them out to be, are they?
No. I think we made them look quite good that opening game of the season, didn't we? They're one of like a number of teams in mid-table on their day. They can do that to you. They can probably put 3, 4 goals past you if they really click, but they don't have that day that often. Hopefully they don't save it for us at the weekend. But we've got this run of home games. This is one you've got to look to win. We beat them at home last season in the league. When we were pretty awful back then as well, but we still managed to beat them. It's a game you got to go for. Surely you got to use that 4-0 game as motivation. You want to get that out of your system and try and get a bit of revenge for that because we were awful on the day. But hopefully we're a much different team now. We'll find out soon enough. But it won't be easy because we don't make games easy.
No, definitely not. I mean, despite their form being up and down, they're only 4 points outside the top 6. I'm sure they're no doubt looking to strengthen this month and then still target a top 6 finish. And like most teams, they're probably looking at QPR and thinking that's 3 points in waiting. I know we would be doing it if we were in their position. I think they'll probably fall short of the top 6. It's competitive up there this season, isn't it? I just don't think they're consistent enough this season. Team who's completely inconsistent, of course, is QPR. We're down to the bare bones in terms of the squad against Bournemouth. Saw debuts for the likes of Pedder, Taller off the bench. And whilst we did acquit ourselves well, as we've been saying, we've got to hope there's some other players coming back for this one.
Yeah, we need them back, really. I mean, if we're not going to bring new additions in, we've got to get our best team out. And, you need people like Steve Cook in the team. You need Chair, Willock playing at their best. You need Cole back. I mean, what's that? What earth's happened to Cole back? He's been missing for months. Is he still here? You need Reggie Cannon in the team. You need your best team out there. We don't get that team out there often enough. When they are out there, they've looked all right. But it's only been about 3, 4 times this season they've all played. So it's important we get them out there. We always say if the fringe players are playing, we're in trouble because they're not that great. they can compete as they did against Bournemouth last week, but it doesn't normally last a full game. It's really important we get these players out their weekend if we're going to get a result, and we need a result as well.
Yeah, Jack Colback, you mentioned he's particularly frustrating, isn't he? He's only played 13 of our 28 games this season in League and Cup. I don't know what really QPR were expecting signing him. It was probably clear to all of us that might happen. Steve Cook, he's one of the few QPR players who's averaging over a point a game this season. But for me, it's like the old days of when it was Jeff Cameron and Lee Wallace. We're always a better side with him in it, but it unsettles the side with them coming and going and never knowing they're going to be available, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, like you see, when he's played, he's been really good, Cook, this season. But, when he really organises the defence, you can see him talking and putting people in the right position, but he's just not there often enough. And if you had him and Clark Salter as your centre-half pair in all season, I think we'd probably be okay. But then we know they're not going to be. Hopefully they play weekend, but then they'll probably miss the next one. It's difficult. And that's kind of the position we've put ourselves in with what we did last summer. We've signed these players to the idea was to change the culture, wasn't it, and bring more experience in, but they're never available to play. So it doesn't really work out for us, does it?
Yeah, we seem to have forgotten about all that culture stuff since Gareth Ainsworth. That was
Yeah.
his buzzword, wasn't it? You said Jake Clark-Salter and Reggie Cannon would come back in. They were both on the bench last week, so we do have to presume they'll come back. But presuming Cook doesn't play, would you bring Clark-Salter in for Fox or Dunn?
I mean, Dunn's a funny one because I think he's been poor for a little while now, isn't he? But I'm not sure I'd start Fox either. I didn't think he was great last week, so I'd probably if Cook's out, probably go Clark-Salter and Dunn. But it's not ideal, to be honest. We know Dunn can do it. He's done it before, but he just seems to be really struggling this season. Hopefully, he can snap himself out of it, but he's having a poor time at the moment.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Dunn and Clark-Salter myself, just because it's more of a balanced back four then, isn't it? Now, we know a lot of our commentary is naturally negative following QPR at the moment. The results are going to lead it that way. But the positive last week, I thought, was front and centre. Dykes and Armstrong playing together. You said it before, both getting a goal. Surely they have to start this one again together.
Yeah, I think so. We don't know. I mean, I'm assuming Chair's still out injured. They haven't said anything about that. So I think they could do that again. Dykes on the left with Armstrong up front. I was really impressed with Armstrong. I just thought he took his goal so well, and he really needed that goal. But just his all-round play the whole game was good as it was at Ipswich. And we need him to come good, really, didn't we? We need him to kick on. He scored that goal at Cardiff and never really kicked on. He needs to now. We desperately need goals. And they're our main two strikers. We need them in the team and getting some goals. Hopefully, both scoring last week and see a bit of an improvement. They go on a little run.
Yeah, absolutely. At the moment, both of them, they score one, and then it's months before the next one. It can't be like that again. Otherwise, we're going down, aren't we? At least we've been able to update the top scorer. Kenneth Powell's been on the graphics all season, and he hasn't scored since September. So finally, it's Dykes on 4. Finishing with the latest on the transfers, like we said, we thought we'd be ready to go at the start of the January with some signings, but it hasn't worked out that way. Heading towards halfway through the month already. Seen us linked with Aaron Collins of Bristol Rovers. Luke Freeman's apparently training with us. Can you see anything happening there?
Well, we keep saying they need to do something. If they stick with what they've currently got, they're going to go down, in my opinion. Just how it's been the last year and a half, how they've played, I just can't see how they get out of it with this squad. That best team that I just spoke about, they're not going to play enough games, so they need to get a minimum forward in midfield player. I wouldn't mind a new goalkeeper, to be honest, but that's probably not a priority. But they need to get to strengthen. And I mean, you just got to assume the money isn't there because they haven't done anything yet. You'd think they would have tried to hit the ground running and be ready for this run of 3 home league games in a row, and they haven't done it. So maybe it is free transfer. Maybe it is someone like Luke Freeman, and they go back in for Chris Martin again and people like that. Maybe they are going to do that, and I'm not sure that's the right thing to do, but they need to do something.
Yeah, it is a concern that they didn't sign people straight away. We have to hope the leeway's there because literally everybody in the comments last week was on the same page as us, where they got the view that we're going to go down if we don't make some signings. We're not going to get out of the mess otherwise. So let's hope there's some developments by this time next week. Predictions for Watford then. Can QPR get much needed points?
I hope so. I fancy a draw for this one. I think it'd be a difficult one. I just don't think we've got enough goals in this to win it. I can see Watford scoring, so I reckon it'd be a score draw. I hope we win. We have a decent record against them at home, but I think it'll be a draw.
Yeah, same thought as myself. I just can't see us outscoring teams, unfortunately. Don't like to end on a negative, but I just can't see it. I don't even think a draw is a good result, though. Normally, you'd think we'll at least get a point, but it's probably not enough for us at the moment in time, is it? So, fingers crossed we can pull together a good performance, and like maybe if we have got a few players back, it'll get us going in the right direction. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, my voice will be a bit back a bit next week as well. Let's go in now, go and get back on the honey and lemon. Time for the rapid reverse fixture against Millwall next week. We'll be back to preview that. Thank you for watching, and come on, you R's.
We know who we are. You know who we are. We are QPR.